Hey guys, it's me, Brandy P from Yes I Am the Veteran, and we have a very special group of ladies that are on with us today. We did want to do a quick live for some of the updates that we have been helping to support. But if for everybody that doesn't know, Tracy, did you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, hi, I am Tracy Laporte, Gold Star mother of Sergeant Adam Two-Step Huckstep Laporte. Thank you for having me, and I'm very appreciative.
Well, she's being very modest. She is also the founder of a organization that does help other moms in Texas. What's the name of that?
It started as Military Moms of Texas, and then since he was killed, it has turned into more of Military Moms of Texas, not just moms and not just military. So I have a couple, but really it's me out there just trying to fight and then mentor as many as I can so that they do not feel like I felt, and trying to connect to find the people that know your heart.
And I think that's the hardest thing, really, is to try to connect with people, especially after a tragedy or a loss or, just suffering something that, it's very hard to relate to other people and you always become the more uncomfortable person, the Debbie Downer of the room.
Right.
I know
Yeah, and
for
I want to change that though, because my whole time and my whole thing has been, okay, where are the people? Because I actually want the opposite. I want to bond. I still want to be able to get around veterans. I still want to be able to be invited to things. So being left out, like you don't have a unit anymore. You don't have like a group of them that are like, hey, mom. They'd all call you mom. So
yeah.
it's like, okay, we lost our people, literally, not just our children, which that's a whole nother ball game that gets me. But people don't understand that there are a lot of us that actually do want to be still involved, still included in things, and we love being around our veterans because to us, that's that unit. And in a way, what I've always wanted, and I wish there was a program where we connected a veteran to a Gold Star family, a fallen family that is in service, because I really think that we would all grow and comfort and help each other. Honestly, when we're struggling, I
Yeah.
mean, it would help both parties. So I've always wanted that to happen, and it's one of the ways I actually met Marie was last time in session. So yeah.
So for those of you that don't know, so this is Marie Vega. And can you introduce yourself a little bit, Marie?
Yes, I'm also from Texas. I'm Angel Mom Marie Vega, and I acquired that title not by choice. And we'll get into that in a little bit. But I'm also the mother of two Marines, both boys, and I should have brought the pictures down from my side from the wall. But yeah, that's all we have. Just two boys, both Marines, outstanding citizens of the community, both of them, and we're just extremely proud of both of the boys.
Mother of Devil Dogs and the Mother's Day weekend.
Yes.
I'm here for it.
Hoorah.
Oh yes, yes. Don't
Right.
get going now.
Yeah.
We got a lot of Marines that actually do watch our show, so yeah, you probably get a lot of comments. And hi Rhonda, hi Jason. So we do have some viewers popping in to say hello. So I know that you recently were in the Capitol in petitioning for the Two Step Act. So for those of you that don't know, I know we had done a live as well, but I wanted to discuss it more in depth today. Tracy, did you want to talk a little bit about your experiences that you recently had?
I can. So he's Army, by the way. So, hooah.
Yeah,
So we got both parties in the house. We got everybody in the house right now.
yeah.
Um, Marie and I are very close. We met because of 2 years ago when I was trying in session. But previous to that, the Two Step Act, my son's nickname is Two Step. He's always gone by that in Texas. I taught him to two step, meet some girls, some nice girls, and you need to learn how to two step at them. So his nickname's Two Step. He was deployed for a very lengthy deployment. He had his 21st birthday overseas. He experienced things that normal people at that age don't experience unless you're in the service. So a lot of people don't realize what that's like as a family member as well, to have them there and then gone. And so that fear of him being deployed like that, that's when I was afraid, yet comfortable too, because he's a badass. I'm sorry, but he definitely was one of those.
Yeah.
But he came back, he switched units, he's getting ready to go to Afghanistan. He had to come home because of they found out I was really, really sick. We couldn't figure out why for the longest time. And that's why the military in Texas kind of stopped for a while. He came, I had surgery, and it was cancer, and it cut my vocal cords, and it was a mess. So I'm fortunate I got to see him 2 times, because I called again and said, you're coming home for Christmas no matter what, before your deployment. So yeah, our last stop was the Harley shop to get him new boots for his Harley. And I said, bye. And I said, Adam, whatever you do, update all your information, take care of everything you need to do before you get to Afghanistan on that plane. So while he was taking care of everything that his mother told him to do, and taking his items to other soldiers that were behind on rear detachment, they were going to be looking out for all of his belongings. Unfortunately, literally, Adam, active duty, combat, OEF, he has survived many, many things. Like, as a young mother, I've done all of that. The single mom, you name it. We've been there, him and I. He couldn't avoid what happened to him. And it is because we do not have a law. And we also have people around doing things that they shouldn't be doing, and criminal activity, DUI, you name it. So the wrong people know this. I did not know this. So the military knocks on my door, and they're telling me, as soon as you see them, it's like a movie. So it's like, I'm like, you're at the wrong house. My son is literally on a bus to get to a plane to go to Afghanistan. And they're like, no, I'm sorry, he's not. And I'm like, yes, he is. And I literally locked myself in a room, and I was calling anyone and everyone I could to pick up the phone. I had been in touch with his old commander. And sadly, they were right. I don't know how I even did it to this day, to be honest with you. Somehow I got even the person that was on the scene on the phone, and it's so blocked, I don't even know how I found the number. But I did.
That freaked me out. I'll tell you that right now.
I had no idea. I still to this day, I'm like, how did you find his number? But I did. Adam, known as the Two-Step Act, which we were just in session for again, is a law that we want, because as Adam was leaving out of the base, bases outside of little towns, a repeat offender who had previously done some of the same things that you shouldn't have done, crashed earlier that day and rented a vehicle again.
Wow, same day.
Yeah, again. But what people don't realize is there's no law. So she knew this, and so do criminals and activity. And these cars are used across the border nonstop, the rental cars, and they steal them or they pack on with drugs. You think of, so many officers, the police association backed us. The border association. People that I would have never expected to step up this session, they stepped in, and they were like, this needs to happen.
It's a serious issue when AAA is stepping in to support.
It's just no law, literally. Like, no one believes me either. Like, I'll say, they'll be like, oh no, I gave my license and it's at rental car agencies. And I'm like, I'm sorry. Like me, I assume too. But no, they're not validating you to see if you're valid or not. It's that easy.
So they're just
Are you a valid driver or not? Because driving is a privilege, not a right. And they need to follow the same laws. So in order to keep the wrong people off the roads, which Texas pays a lot of money to clean up after, I want a law that they have the system. It's through DPS in every state. They pay each time they use it a very low amount. And then they have a minimum amount that they have to meet each year. So, they're at the end, they're like, oh, you, and you. It's like, okay, I'm going to pick this one because of whatever. It's like, seriously, it's 2023. We can do that? No, we can't. They have technology, but they'd have to give that money to Texas. So they already charge everyone. They charge everyone in the US that amount to validate, pocket it. So instead of giving the $4.50 to the Texas DPS or whatever your state is, they're billionaires. So I felt like I was David versus Goliath this last round. I'm very fortunate for those that stepped in, as far as, our first responders, our police association, the border association, our military, AAA, and insurance companies, because they still have to pay because there's no law. So without a law, our police and everyone are stuck trying to figure out what are we going to do, because we can't charge them. We can't even do anything with this car. Who does it belong to? And then I found out after doing all of this. So during session, the big thing was, Tracy, don't bring up the border. And it was kindly brought up because people, when you mention that, they're going to obviously go on a whole nother level. And it depends on who you are. I'm not saying everyone, but I was focused on one thing, and it is make a driver valid before you give them a key to a weapon. That DUIs, there's so many reasons we need to do it, right? We all have to do it.
Yeah, you were saying like the lady that had actually got legally rented a vehicle did it twice in the same day. If there was a law,
she went and got a rental car because of the crash earlier. So that state got stuck with cleaning up after that. So what I don't understand is, I ended up picking up some authors that I was like, wow, okay. One is in El Paso, Moody. And then we have John Busey. We have Jenny Lopez. We have Senator Middleton. We have Representative Kane. We had several on each side. It was voted unanimous out of committee after testifying and everything. And as I'm walking around the Capitol, I witnessed a lot. I witnessed not only being followed literally by one of the companies of their lobbyists. Each store I'd go into, they'd be out around the corner, like, and then pull up their phone like they're doing something, yet wearing their name tags and stuff like I'm dumb. So I'm like, at the very end, I just kind of turned around and looked and said, would you like to have a conversation? Can I help you?
My name is Tracy.
Like, can I help you, somebody? And so my biggest problem was they kept saying, well, we're waiting on this one man. We got to have this one man do something. So at the end, I'm like, where's one woman? Seriously, like, where is one woman that is going to stand up and like push? Because nobody is pushing. One office, there's a couple, but there is one office that people would be shocked by that helps me and like jump through hoops. So I am grateful to the offices that I met and the people that know that this needed to happen. And I still don't have the truth. I don't know the answer as to why, when it's voted unanimous, you can go straight to the floor for local and consent.
I thought that was like the standard. That was where it was expected to go. If it was
and so
like right.
There's a back and forth. Like, you have to have your representative go and say at the vote, please move it to local consent. I emailed, I did everything I could, but I'm not a politician. So the relationship I developed with another office, one is saying that one's lying, and then the other is saying that one's lying. So hopefully I get the truth. But what I really want is none of the negativity. I want the law. It's simple. I want them to validate someone. That's it. I'm a mom, but as I'm around the Capitol, I witnessed a major extreme, hundreds of people screaming at the top of their lungs. And it's something that was like, you can't even do this. I understand protesting, all that. Our son served. So we get it. Freedom of speech, all of that, all for it. But what I was witnessing was angry and extreme. And I was like, what is going on? So I walked through, and a police officer, I could tell by his face, like, he's someone I can approach because he's going to tell me the truth. I approached him and I said, can I ask a question? And he said, sure. And I said, is this something that is for or against? And he looked at me, and I wear my got military stuff all over me. I've got Adam's picture. And he goes, well, what are your feelings on the border? And I said, I'm told not to mention the word in this capital. And I said, is that what this is about? And he said, yes, it is. And he said, I said, okay, in which way? And it is, they want it lifted. They want everything taken up. They want the border completely open. And they took children on a field trip with them as they are like screaming like crazy, going up and down the stairs. I was like, oh my gosh. I said to the officer, which way are they going? Because I'm going the opposite way.
Yeah.
And I'll start on that end because I don't want any part of this. This was too much to be inside doing. This was beyond protesting. I had my first senator got a DUI. Then there was another one that got a DUI. So
wow. Was it like a inside competition that month or something?
I have no idea. I just know that I am a mom and not a politician, and that I had to start over. So I was like, okay, let's go find somebody else. He can rent a car now, though. I mean,
wow.
There's no law.
No you're not really. That's the horrible part about that is that
he probably was in a rental car. I have to tell you this. We're in session. And so everywhere in Texas, all the politicians are here. And a lot of them are in rental cars. So I bet you he was in a rental car. I want to find out. There's two, though. It happened twice. So there's two that got DUIs. There's two that were fighting on the floor, literally, and one had to be taken out.
And was this during
politicians?
So was this during like a beer bill, like when they were discussing it, or no?
It is not my bill. It is the hot topic of two things going on right now, and one is the border, and another, I'm going to completely leave that alone. Again, I'm not a politician.
You're fine. Nope, I just want to make clarity so I know.
Between that and then a sexual assault case that was happening inside the Capitol, and it was on. When you're in the Capitol, you get to hear all of this. So it's like it was so hard because that's happened to me. And so the triggering kept happening. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to get out of this office. So what happened is someone that had submitted their resignation already, they brought all the politicians to the floor to say, you have to go, you need to go, bye. But that took away time from every important bill and every other thing that we need to be working on. And so did everything else. So by the end, people are talking about puppies and things for bills that are, I'm like, seriously? Like, I'm talking about lives. And you know what? If you don't care about a life, I can tell you how Texas can get more money too and save money from the crashes that are happening. So not only will I save you money, Texas will make money. So if you don't care about my soldier's life being killed, care about someone else's or a dog or someone on the sidewalk. Nobody needs to be in a vehicle, which is a weapon, and handed a key. Just because you can show a license that could be fake, it could be old and suspended, revoked, you name it. This is crazy to me. It's common sense. Like, why did I get a unanimous vote? Why? And why didn't you put it where it needed to go on the local floor? Why? So I'm getting two different answers. One is saying they're lying. The other one's saying we did it. I want to find where the public records are, honestly, to see who did what. But my authors, Representative Kane, Senator Middleton, from the very beginning supported me, especially after what happened with the first one with the DUI. So I am very, very, very grateful to them. They are very good people. So are the others that signed on. Again, I don't know what happened, but what I do know that shocked me is I do know that Longoria's office has someone in his office, and he is an unbelievable individual that works there. His name is Paco. And he worked and had his staff work, overnight to get the report out so that it could get to the vote for local and go down. We still don't know what happened. Like, all I know is apparently an author has to show up during that vote and say, I want it to go here. That's all I was told. I don't know if it's a policy. I don't know if it's a rule. I don't know what it is. So none of us understand it right now, except that, we go back. We go back again, and Texas is every other year. And then I can focus on federal. I went federal before with the previous administration. Nothing to do with politics again.
No, just the previous
federal transportation. I just want valid drivers. We have like watch lists. We have all these things in the world, and it's like TSA on the air, you name it. But what do you think the biggest mode of transportation is? As soon as someone gets off that plane and knowing where they are, when we have the FBI, we have all these people that, oh, we've got this watch list, we've got this going on, we've got border. Okay, well, guess how you would know where they are when they got on the ground? Hello? When they go to get the car, if you actually validated who's getting that car, it would flag what's going on here. They're in Texas. What's going on here? They're here. But, again, in your own state, it's DUI, distracted driving. It's under the influence. It is just stupidity on a cell phone. It is everything you can think of that shouldn't be. Like when I was testifying, a man had 4 DUIs while I was testifying. He'd already killed someone before in a rental car. He knew he could do it. So it's happened to a lot of people, not just me. He went again while I was testifying in Las Vegas. Look it up. 4th DUI, got another rental car and killed another person right when I was testifying. So I'm a believer in faith. And so I kept running into these weird scenarios with certain people at the Capitol that were very, very kind to me. And one is Borough's office. And I was like, this can't be possible. And what is going on? Like, this is not a coincidence. We have to do something. Please, Texas, lead the way. Like, lead the way and help everyone. This is everyone I want to be helped. I don't want another mom, dad, sister, brother, person like by this stupidity. It's common sense. Like, why are you giving a key to someone that we don't even know is valid to drive beside us? So it's
How
like,
can people watching support? Like, can they go to the twostepAct.com to
yes.
write a letter?
Yeah, the number 2. So the number 2 and then stepact.com, twostepAct.com. He has a Facebook page, the Two Step Act. We're easily Googleable. You can Google us. You can Google under Tracy Laporte, Military Rose of Texas. You can Google under the Two Step Act. But twostepact.com has the actual bills and the language of it. It was so simple. It has videos. It also has letters where you can go and take my letter and then send it to your representative and your senator. And now I want Congress. I want above this level. So now I'm going up. I would like to talk to a congressman is what I'd like. I would like for our congressman in Texas to be in touch and to listen to me and understand why in the White House, federally, the Transportation Department wanted this and what is going on. Like, I need support. I need help. I am a mom. I am one person. And I thought, like my son and Marie's, we get used as posters when campaigns come around. It's like, oh yes, here's the soldier, and the mom, and we're grateful and we're thankful, but keep helping us. Like, let's make something work. Let's put I'm sorry into action. Like, let's take action and do something.
Guys, actually, like, be about this. We're parents and we have losses, all the time, and not just for this one program. While it benefits you to use their images, like, I can only feeling.
Yeah, and that's how I met Marie.
I was going to ask Marie, like, if she wanted to speak a little bit about maybe some of her experiences and things that maybe she'd like to say.
Yeah, and she helped a lot on the Two Step Act. So Marie, thank you. She was behind the scenes, like posting and trying to get a hold of, representatives. The things that I'm asking others to do, Marie actually did it. So there are a good few out there who were literally like working and still trying to do this. So thank you, Marie.
You're welcome.
And Marie,
I don't think I did that much, but
yeah, well,
you did.
It's helpful, I'm sure. It's not easy to do what she's doing, and I mean, it takes a community really just to band together as far as getting resources. And you reach out to this person and speak at this event, and it's a lot. People don't really realize it takes a lot to pass a bill. It takes a lot to advocate or lobby for any cause, not just, something like this on such a large scale, but in general, like it's a lot. So just to do what you guys are doing on top of that, it's got to be a challenge. And especially the fact that, people are reaching out for things outside of that, like to use, your children's stories, for like whatever that is their platform is, in conjunction with what you guys are doing. That's got to be doubly difficult. Marie, did you ever struggle like with, trying to I guess, really go out there and do any sort of media interviews or speak to his experience, unfortunately.
Well, like I had told Tracy before, it was a little bit difficult for us to speak because it took almost, I think, 4.5 years, almost 5 years, to go to trial on the first um, illegal alien. And so we couldn't really get out there and talk about it because it could have swayed the jury, knowing, you know, the stuff that we knew for a fact. So we didn't want that, and we didn't want to jeopardize the outcome of the trials in any way. But like, it's difficult when you get out there and talk. Even now, when I'm asked to go speak at a event or a rally, you start talking about what happened, and it's very hard. It's very hard, and you can't help but cry. And as hard as you try to hold your tears back, it's hard. This was a little life that you had, that you gave birth to, and then somebody just comes along and decides that he's going to take that life. So I'd like to share what happened to us.
Okay.
Okay, so Harvey, he's back here. Always had a love for law enforcement. He just loved this country, loved the government and everything. And from a very young age, he expressed interest in either becoming a police officer or joining the military. So, of course, right after high school, what does he do? He joins the Marine Corps.
Yep.
This kid had never been anywhere by himself.
Oh,
Never.
wow.
Never. So it was really hard on me. It was hard on my husband. And it was like, to think that he was out there with no family, And we didn't he went to boot camp in San Diego, California. My husband's relatives are from Northern California. So that's a big stretch. I mean, and we really couldn't ask him, can you go check up on him? And which wouldn't be possible anyway.
Sure, you thought about it though, huh?
Yeah.
I did do that.
No, you should have faced don't be that mom, no.
Yeah.
And so anyway, when time came for his graduation, we made the trip out there. We actually took 2 weeks off to go up and visit my husband's relatives, and we were in California for 2 weeks. And as soon as graduation was over, we brought him home. He was out, on leave. And I tell you, every time that he came home on vacation was just perfect. My whole little family and was together. He's always made us very proud. He did 4 years in the military. When he got out, the little one, after 9/11, decided to join the Marine Corps right out of high school. I'm like, am I doing something wrong with these boys? But I understand. I mean, it's something, it was good what they did, what they decided to do. Their decisions were always good. I just wanted to have him here with me. I wanted to have him close by. So anyway, so Harvey comes home. He's working full-time nights, going to school full-time days.
Oh, wow.
I don't know how he did it. I mean,
a lot of sleep doesn't sound like.
No. I mean, he would come home, do his homework, go to sleep for a couple of hours, and then show up for work, show up for school. I mean, I just couldn't. Thinking back to that, it's like, how the heck did he manage all that? Well, anyway, so he graduated from our local community college, and immediately he was hired by Krista Spahn as a biomed technical engineer. It's a long term.
That's like, you work on medical equipment. That's not an easy job. That's like
No,
years of school, and it's very intricate because we used to always have to bring our equipment to BMed to fix that anything that malfunctioned on the ambulance or in the actual like examination rooms. But that's an important job.
Yeah, and I think it was just in him because I can remember to him being 14 years old and telling me, "Mom, can you buy a CD player for your car?" And I was like, "Who's gonna install it? I'm gonna have to pay to it. I'll do it myself. I'll do it myself." He did it himself at 14.
Wow.
There'd be nothing wrong with my car. He'd be under the hood looking at
Just
something,
checking. Let's make sure
taking
it's
it apart. Yeah, taking it apart, putting it back together.
as long as he puts it back together, you know, you have those mechanics that'll take it apart and walk away. You're like,
Yeah.
put it back together, please. Thank you.
So he was very good with his hands. You know, he could take things apart and just put them back together the way they were, like nothing. And this was with no experience. And back then we didn't have Google, we didn't have YouTube. He couldn't do any of that. It was just anyway. So he goes to work for Krista Spawn in Kingsville, and of course, with that love for law enforcement, he would see the Border Patrol agents coming in with illegals, you know, or sometimes they would get hurt. So he'd see them there. And so he comes to me and he says, "Mom," I said, "What, baby?" He goes, "I think I want to join the Border Patrol." And I said, "You know what? If this is something you want to do, go for it. You know, you can do it. We'll help you however we can." And sure enough, he got in. He was an agent, and then he became a canine handler, and that's his dog.
What's his dog's name?
That's the dog he worked with. Actually, she lives here with us.
What's her name?
Goldie.
Goldie. Okay.
Yeah, and actually, she was named after a Border Patrol agent that died, and I think it was either in New Mexico and Arizona. His last name was Goldstein, but they called him Goldie. You know, the guys
cute.
are. So Goldie was named after him. Anyway, so he gets in as an agent, then becomes a canine handler, and that's what he was doing when he was taken from us. August the 3rd, 2014, he had a day off, and we had made plans for them to come down and we'd barbecue for them. His wife did some shopping at the outlet mall. The boys wanted to go do some target shooting because they were getting ready for hunting season.
Sure.
So they went out to our friend's ranch, and when everybody was done doing everything that they were doing, they were gonna do, he called us and said, "Mom, we're all done. Do we go home and leave our weapons there?" Because they had borrowed my husband's weapons. And I told him, I said, "No, you know what? Let's take advantage of the daylight. We'll meet you at our favorite fishing spot, and we'll take the guns from you there." So we were on our way over there, and this is Santa Monica, Texas. It's maybe 40 miles away from where we live in La Feria.
Okay.
And we meet up on the levee. And so we go through the canal or through the levee, and I spot a vehicle. And it seems strange because the vehicle was parked like upwards, like on an upslope. And I waved to them, but they didn't wave back. It was two men. Okay. So I said, okay, well, even though we made eye contact, I had never had that happen to me where
they went back.
if we ran into somebody out there, hello, and they would say hello back. Anyway, so we go to our favorite fishing spot. We park, we get settled in. Not less than 5 minutes, this vehicle's driving up. So I told my husband, I said, that vehicle that was parked up there is driving over here. And Harvey says, "Mom, they're probably wanting to find a fishing spot, right? But this one's already taken." And I said, "Yeah, you're probably right." So they don't go all the way up to where we are. Instead, they stop, reverse, and drive away. Okay, right? A few minutes later, they're back. And I told Javier, my husband Javier, and Harvey, I said, that vehicle's coming back. And so now it kind of looks suspicious, right?
Yeah.
So Harvey starts walking back to one of the trucks because on the rear tire of, I think it was my husband's truck. I don't remember. It's been so long. It's been almost 9 years already. They have put an AR leaning against the tire in the back because in case the boys got tired of fishing or bored and they wanted to shoot, they could just go do some more shooting, right? Well, so Harvey starts walking back to where the AR is, and all of a sudden, that SUV stops. Both doors swing open, and they get off shooting at us. As Harvey reaches for the AR, he gets struck in the chest.
And
Sorry.
he was active duty on border patrol literally
Yeah,
while
he
this happened.
was with Border Patrol by this time. He had
Yes.
been in the Border Patrol 6 years already.
Mhm.
So I hear all the commotion. I look around. I look at my grandchildren who were there, my daughter-in-law,
They were there. Yeah.
and a friend of the middle child. He had his friend there with us. The boys were all fishing. So I fall back and I turn and I look at Harvey, and Harvey's on the ground. And all I can think of is just getting to him as fast as I can. And I can't get up on my feet. So I literally crawl to him and I check him and I see that he's shot. So I pick up the AR. By that time, my husband's already shooting to defend the family. I pick up the AR and I start shooting, and the damn thing gets jammed on me. Like little chickens, scared chickens, they run back into the stolen vehicle where there's stolen weapons and drive off. That was the most ugliest experience that a mother could ever have. You know, it's losing a child is an out of order death. We're not supposed to be burying our children.
No.
It should be the other way around. Since that day, I made it my mission to be as outspoken about this, to fight this lawlessness at the border. There's immigration laws, and they're there for a reason. I was not born here. I came here at age 3. I'm the daughter of an American father and a Mexican mom. My father met my mom in Mexico. He stayed over there because he instantly fell in love with her. They were married 75 years, 70 some years, until my mom passed away in 2020. When he decided to bring the family back, or to bring the family over to the United States, he did it the right way. He paid his dues. He waited his turn. He did everything he had to do. But he was not once did it cross his mind that he would bring us over illegally. And we were raised to do the right thing, to work hard. We weren't going to take handouts. We weren't going to ask for them. And that's something that he never did. He has never asked the government to do anything for him. He's been a farmer all his life. And I started working when I was 16 because I got married at that age. But it's always been an honest living. I've never asked the government for anything at all. I mean, it was my choice to marry my husband. It was my choice to have children. And I was going to be responsible for them, just like my dad was for us. We obey the law. He's always told us, you do not do anything to disobey the law. You do not break the law. You do the right thing. You believe in God. You have faith in God. You know, he raised us right. And anyway, so it's what's happening at the border. It just angers me so much because We are such a diverse nation, and the diversity makes it even more special. But there's a proper way to come into the country. And that's all we want. That's all we want. Why are we spending all this money on illegal aliens? Why are we flying them? Why are we paying for their hotel? Why are we paying for their food? Why are we giving them free medical? We have the elderly, we have the homeless, we have our veterans, we have our hungry children that we're not taking care of because we're too busy taking care of non-citizens. It just angers me so much. And I'm going to be as loud as I can about this. I'm not going to sit back and just take it. I just, if we, like Tracy said, or you, I think it was you that said, it takes a community. If we all just
Bonded together.
bond together, like me and Tracy did. Look at where she's at now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Look at how much she's done. I just admired this woman because she worked so hard. So resilient and strong, and I see her cry, I hear her cry, but she does not give up. And that's what we all need to do. Anyway, so I mean,
both of you ladies so much. I mean, for sharing your story and continuing to fight, I mean, and putting yourselves out there, it's hard. Like I have, a very odd and not normal story, and it's hard for me to just tell that, but not nearly what you ladies are telling all the time at different events all over the US over and over, and reliving that. Like people don't understand that when people ask, hey, tell your story. But you have to relive that story every time you tell that story. Like that video is not going to switch off just because you finish speaking. Like you're going to have to think about that for days, if not more so, and sometimes very painful parts of that. And it's very difficult. And I very much commend you ladies for even, having the strength to do what you're doing, because many people, they would not feel comfortable even remotely in putting themselves out there as you ladies have.
Yeah, and like with Tracy, the female that killed Adam, these two illegals have been deported numerous times.
I was gonna say, was there a reason that they targeted like your son, or was it just like a weird coincidence? Did they ever find out anything?
Wrong place.
Two four-wheel drive vehicles.
Yeah.
They owed money for a transmission or an engine that they sold and took the money and spent it, so they needed another engine.
Oh, they were just trying. They just saw the vehicle and they were like, "Oh, that'll work," and they wanted.
Yeah. Two. I mean, my husband was driving his four-wheel drive truck. My son was driving his four-wheel drive truck. We were in the levee.
What I can get over is there's so many of you, so it's like, like they would just, been happy to have just stopped at the one had you guys not defended yourselves. A lot of people when they're fishing, they may have a sidearm, but that's all they might have because of the fact that they're there to fish. They may have something for protection, but if they're not there to actively hunt, you're not going to have, the weapons that you'd usually have. You happen to have more because you happen to be target shooting earlier that day. And so it was just really luck that you happen to have what you had on you.
Well, yeah, it's like when I tell my story is if my husband and I had not fired back, they would have killed everybody there. And they knew there were children there because they saw us the first time, they saw us the second time, the third time they showed up, they knew there were children there. And they still went ahead and did what they did. They shot my husband. My husband's disabled now because of them.
He was struck. Oh, wow.
Yeah, he was struck in the back. Mm-hmm. My husband survived. My son didn't. I was the closest one to them. I don't understand how I was never hit. I was the one in front of them, shooting them, and I wasn't hit. How does that even happen? My husband was the furthest, and he got shot. They could have shot any one of the boys that were sitting on top of the canal bank. The youngest one was sitting inside the canal fishing, inside the canal. Mm. But had our immigration laws been enforced during Obama, then this wouldn't have happened. Along with, I mean, I wish you could meet all the other angel moms and dads. There was no reason for their children to be killed, and they were all killed by illegal aliens. All of them. All of them. Some for fun. And if I had the time, I would tell you how some of the ones that I've met were killed, and it's horrible, horrific. You know, my son was killed in front of his children, and this could have been prevented had our immigration laws been enforced. Just like with Tracy, it's one tiny little thing that she's after. One simple little thing. Run that driver's license through the DMV. We're not asking for much.
We're paying you for it already.
Huh?
We're paying you for it already. I mean, you're having to pay the fee, so it's not like it's a fee that people wouldn't want to pay. So, you know, we assume that because we pay the fee that the service is being rendered, but it's not.
No. Well, the thing is that Marie knows, because we met a trooper, and I won't say his name, at the Capitol, who literally told me, and Marie could speak to him quite extensively because of his speaking Spanish so well. I can understand some, but not that well. So I first thought of Marie. So that trooper literally told me, he said, by the way, he was talking to my friend that was with me, and so I was filling out paperwork, and I overheard what they were saying. And he's like, why are you here? And I heard my friend, and he was, when people say things, they'll say, oh, car accident. I'm like, no. This is a crash. This is no accident. This is something that would have been prevented. It's fraud. It's at every level. It is illegal to do this. You can't sign your name on a document. And I can't even tell you how many ways. So when I met him, he said, I want to tell you something. And I said, what's that? And he said, keep fighting, because if everyone knew what just happened at this Capitol a week ago, and it wasn't in the news, and a lot of these politicians in the Capitol have no idea what was happening, but we had an Enterprise truck out near the Capitol, and he said, I worked at the border for years, and I worked near it for years, and I have been in law enforcement for 30 years, and he's just, you know, at the Capitol, this is kind of his retirement thing. It's easier. But he said, you wouldn't be here, they wouldn't be here if they knew what was in that Enterprise truck. And I said, you got to be kidding me. And he said, no. And he said, what you need to know is what happens at the border. And I said, I'm sorry, sir, I'm told don't talk about the border. So it killed my heart, because I'm close to Marie. So I even called her and I was like, Marie, talk to him and get the information, because I'm being told they don't want to talk about the border, and it's because they don't want to mix up what the actual law is for. So we want to validate drivers. But what people don't understand is a proximity of location. So if you're in a proximity of a location where there's a higher level of illegal activity, criminal activity, illegal, you know, we had Title 42 expired, and I was just like, wow, you got to be kidding me. There has to be law and order. So she spoke to him, and he was explaining. I've always brought it up that, you know, can you imagine what's being happened, what goes on with these cars? And he confirmed every bit that, of course they do. They take these cars, and it's for trafficking drugs. It's for trafficking people. It's for trafficking anything you can think of. They steal them, bring them across, and then they like reconfigure or steal the parts, or they also leave rental vehicles outside of the border on the Texas side, so that when they're doing their illegal activity and they can get through, then they get in that rental car that was rented by whoever, we don't know, because, you know, they don't check. And then they get in that car, and it's like they're, you know, on their way. So we started putting this all together by the help of, you know, the police, the troopers, the people who've worked at the border. And they were like, you have no idea how many times we have had to figure out, how are we going to clean this up? Where does this vehicle go? Who owns this vehicle? And we can't charge. we can't even charge the person because
Even
this is a
officially,
law.
yep.
Yeah. So I was like, Marie, can you please talk to him? Like, and he was like, I'll testify if you want me to. And I was like, well, I don't want you to, you know, risk your job. But I do know someone, and that's Marie. Marie is very intelligent. She I've had her speak to many, many people. We have our own little group that where we found each other out there. Marie and I are very close. We're able to talk about the same subject of how I have a subject that will help us stop some of it. But it also stops in the state a lot of illegal activity, not just there.
Trickle down
But
effect in general because of the fact that people
this
are
would
able
have helped.
to rent vehicles, so
Yeah,
thereby
this
it
would
would
have helped.
prevent X and Y from happening because they would have no way to procure the vehicles because
Right.
the licenses would in fact be validated, so you would know if it whom it was, and two, if their license was something that could actually allow them to have a vehicle, and really that in itself, I mean, would say cause a lot of cause and effect just in a wide variety of different things, not just one or two different type of arenas. And I think a lot of it people don't even realize, like, what you're saying with the border, you were, people just like having like felony DUIs and able to procure vehicles, even just like anything outside of the state, people trying to get in the vehicle, like get these vehicles that are local so that way they have no detection and people don't see them. But there's a lot of different ways that just one small law would really affect a lot of change.
Yeah, it would have. Yes, it will. I'm not going to quit. I won't give up, but I need help.
Not exactly. And so, I
we
mean,
need
yeah.
Congress, we need a lobbyist, we need an attorney, and then Maria and I need sponsorships to send us back to DC
Yep.
and all these places so that we will be the ones. We'll talk. We'll
Yep.
get up there. We are more than happy to do it. So, elections come back around, as long as we have sponsors, because we're not money. We don't have like a money tree.
Yeah.
So
No,
like
we
the
all wish we-
billionaires I'm fighting that have a ton of money, and
Oh,
then you talk about the border, like no one's going to hand Maria a bunch of money and go, hey, come on, let's do this. But they're going to call and say, can you come speak? So we do need help to get to the right places, and we are more than happy to share real stories, true stories, not get into the politics of everything of what someone's done and someone hasn't. It's about people. It is about doing the right thing. It is about law and order. And this is also about two sons that were killed, and they would not have been if we had had laws in place that were working.
Absolutely.
So Marie
it's
and I immediately, like my heart right now, like hurts. When I had to tell her that they told me I can't bring up the border, it killed me when I had to call and say, Marie, write your letter, but I'm being told, because they didn't want to confuse it. They didn't want to confuse that, hey, this is a law about this. And I understand what they were doing. That's great. So I followed advice. I denied a CBS investigation story that I was told to do. Looking back, after the way things went, I wish I'd done the CBS story. I'd still like to. I wish that I had gotten Rudy here with me. And that means a sponsor. That means someone to help us get our story out and get to places. So we at this point need help, especially right now. I notified Marie. I said, Marie, I'm in the Capitol, and Moody, who's in El Paso, had authored. He declared a state of emergency because I said, have you seen what's happening before it came out? It was hundreds of thousands just all over El Paso. It was unbelievable. And I was just blown away. So I called Marie and I'm like, Marie, this is crazy. And this is before Title 42 expired. And even he is like, this is just doesn't work. We don't even have a system. We don't have anything in place. Like, what are we thinking here? Like, what's the plan? So I called her and I'm like, beware. I heard about it today. I saw it. It's out there. You're about to hear about it. And then sure enough, as soon as it expired that day, she sent me a message and said, oh my gosh, I am angry. And she gets to see this because she lives near that area. She's like, Tracy, you were right, but it's worse. Like, it's way worse. It's like a sea of individuals, like, just like in the streets and sleeping on the sidewalks, and like, it's like, they're desperate for food now. And how, like, what are we going to do? Like, okay, we deployed troops. Like, okay, how does that make sense? Okay, we're going to lift this all up and then we'll deploy troops. Huh? Like,
We did it backwards.
I don't understand. Like, I'm a common sense person. I'm not saying I'm highly intelligent, but I am not stupid. So, I mean, I don't understand stupid. I have a really hard time when someone cannot understand common sense. And then I, have to sit back and think, okay, well, let's think of another way. And the only thing that we've thought of is Maria and I can band together, and we're willing to talk with Moody. We are willing to talk with Longoria. We are willing to talk to any of these politicians, but I think we need to go higher than that. We
Agreed.
used to get a lot of interest out of the White House. And that's only because that person, and it doesn't matter who you like or don't like, because we're moms, we're not politicians. But at least that person, like, I say gold star mom, and it was like, oh, that's good. Like, you got a gold sticker when your kid was little. And I'm like, no,
Yeah, no.
you don't want that.
Yeah, you don't
No.
ideally.
You have to have an active duty soldier that was killed. And I'm like, my son was killed. This is not a good thing. Like, no, you don't want this.
Yeah, I don't shine
And
up
then
or make
Angel, it's like people they don't even know this world. We're glad they don't, actually. But we now have to lead the way. We have to
exactly.
do something. Yeah. And we can't do it without help any longer. We need someone to sponsor us going, and we'll talk at the different rallies and the different things. And we need more support. We've got to have Congress step in and start working with us, and not this wait every 2 years for Texas to go to session. And
They might hose you in the
wait,
last
wait. Everyone's like, well, this one man, we got to wait on this one man. And at the end of the day, I was walking into an office and going, where is one woman?
There you go.
Like, please, is there a woman that can stand up here anywhere?
You would have had it done like a week ago.
Sorry.
Seriously.
I'm like, they're like, this is how it's set up. And I'm like, oh, look, I respect everything you're doing. Those staffers, by the way, I have to give them my gosh, you would not believe the work that they do. They do a lot of the work.
Oh,
So
yeah.
unfortunately, a lot of the politicians in Texas have never even seen the two-step back bill language, anything, because we almost got down there, but because whoever, whatever, didn't ask for it to go local direct. If it did or didn't, I have to stand by my authors.
But basically, they put
and
it back on the
trust them.
floor again. And
So I don't know. I still don't know. I would like to find out. But at this point, I think we just, to be positive and go forward.
Yeah, take the lessons, go forward, and just go up higher, and that's all you can do. I mean, at this point, it's just get the word out there about what you ladies are doing, what you're advocating for, and how people can donate, or they can help as far as sponsoring either a trip, or they can try to help as far as securing accommodations, or whatever it is that you ladies need, so you guys can get out there and you can speak to these experiences, so that way change can be made. Because it's not going to be made without you guys really pushing for it. Unfortunately, I mean, we've seen where the whole sitting back and letting, like, politicians do their due diligence doesn't always work out so well for us. So, I mean, for you guys, just keep fighting, and let us know how we can support, if it's, to donate to this link, or you guys do like a gala event, where you guys try to raise funds. Just let us know so we can support any way that we can.
Well, we would love someone to help us do that. Getting that going, and the funds for that too are very, 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 it's a hard job. I've done it before. You need a lot of people that want to pull that off. So we're more than happy to, but again, we got to have the right people who want to say, yeah, this is important.
Sure.
We want this to happen, and let's get this out there, get it out, use us. Okay, we're fine with it at this point because we want it to happen. So it's like, we want law and order. We want no one else to experience this. Use us. Use our
That's
story,
yeah.
and we'll tell it. We will do whatever we need to do to make sure that they understand that these are our babies. These are our children
Yeah.
that we're talking about
Yeah, real
on
people.
Mother's Day weekend.
Yeah. And it's not us wanting to be out there on the air, because if you gave us that choice, we'd take our son back and not and just do away with all this.
Agree.
But people need to know, the consequences of a license that has not been verified, the consequences of having illegal aliens here. People need to know what happens and how ugly it is. It's like we don't want this to happen to anybody else, and that's why we're speaking out. We don't want it to happen to anyone else. We want to protect you. We want to do everything that we can to prevent that. And like Adam, like Harvey, I see all the stuff that Tracy posts, and she'll get a drawing or a painting or a little gift. And how long has Adam been gone?
Well, so I just learned something today about you. So the same thing happened to me because of the Army. There's a line of duty investigation. And then I had to deal with civilian and civilian court. So unfortunately, I didn't get to start working on the law part until this last session and this session, this last 4 years, because I was fighting already for the person that killed him. And previous to that, the military always does an investigation. Thank God my son, I went to Georgia because he was stripped of all of his clothing, his necklace, his wallet, you name it, his shoes. His own Harley was pulled off the scene. And I'm like, what is going on? I feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone. Like, how can someone come over my son who's just been thrown through the road and like his arm ripped? I'm talking brutally. How do you do that? What do you mean? Like he was, his stuff's gone? Like he's just laying there with nothing? Like, how does this happen? Like, and it's like, isn't it 2023? Because I was like, man, I don't know what's happening, but I can't take this. So a lot of fighting, like she's talking about, she had to go to court. I had to force the court situation, and it's because there's the no law thing is my problem. But I didn't know Marie's, I knew she had to go to court, but the part about us having to be quiet at certain times, and we have to handle one thing in an order and then another thing in an order. And then that's, when we get to that point, now we can be out there and we can advocate, we can tell our stories. I don't even know what to say. Like, even when I talk to Marie and even other families that I try to mentor, I don't do anything. I don't think I do anything special at all. I would definitely take my son back over any of this. I'm not kidding. And I don't want it to happen to anyone. I don't care who you are. I don't want it to happen. And I know that it will happen. So that's what sucks. It's like, we both know that what could happen to you, you're gonna melt. I mean, it's like melting your heart. It's I can't explain how you feel. You're never the same, but I don't know the words. I never can find the right words because it's my son. Yeah. So how do you say, you just can't say anything except I want him back. And if I can't have him back, I believe in my faith. Then we got to do something, because I cannot lay down and cry and just do nothing. And because nobody else is doing it. So we have to do it. But we're moms, we're not politicians. So it's like, we need help. We actually need, like, everyone's telling me, well, why don't you sue? And I'm like, well, I would love to. And I will let the attorney take all the money. Like, maybe not all. Most of the money.
To your cause, anything.
Yeah, most of the money. I don't care. It's blood money. Yeah, blood money. They can take most of that money. I don't care.
Yeah.
I just need the person to do it. I need that. We need a lobbyist, both of us. We need this, but we also are ready. We are ready and willing to be out there after what has just happened. Like what Marie had to see. And I knew when I witnessed it in the Capitol what was happening, and I got a hold of her and was like, warning, I'm warning you. It's very intense and pretty bad. So I want you to be prepared when you go look this up. And so for both of us, it's like, where is the common sense? Like, where is the natural order of things? Like your freedoms that you have, because our children served, and you served too, Brandy, by the way. So thank you. But you know, we're always thankful to our veterans. We're always thankful to our first responders. We are always thankful to our border agents. I mean, our police. You know, everybody thinks bad things immediately. It's like, no. In the world, yeah, you probably do have a third. Great middle path. You know, yes, we want it to happen. And then, yes, you're going to have
Opposers.
Crime. You're going to have things that need law and order. So it's always going to be like that. And that's why we have to have laws in place. And that's why we have the ways that we have to follow the law. Why aren't we making sure that, okay, and Marie, right where she's at, how's that make sense? Like what order are we doing anything except for opening up and saying, let's go? Like, how are we feeding, housing? How are we taking care of everything? And then, wait a minute, because we have plenty here already. And I'm not saying we don't want people to hear. We want it to come in the order it should. And that's great. That's welcoming. Even like my original origin of where, you know, my grandfather met my grandmother. You know, and I don't tell people, but there's a story there too. So the right people doing it the right way is how it works. And so we have to make this a human story. And that human story is us as moms. And I can tell you right now, my son, she mentions 9/11 with her youngest one in the Marines. He did the same thing. It was 9/11 happened. Oh, I'm joining. I'm going. And he's in middle school. And I'm like, okay, Adam.
2003, I was around that era.
All the way from middle school. I'm like, we're not going there. Let's just get through school, please.
Yeah.
And but he's a fighter though. I mean, and he kind of got it from his mom. So I'm not afraid to speak up, but I am afraid when I start being intimidated and followed and harassed by these other billion-dollar industries because I'm trying to create something that they don't want. So that's not cool. That isn't cool. And Marie and I can't just go show up there in El Paso right now and be like, hey, this shouldn't happen. No, we got to have a process, and the right people help us to explain why this can't be like this. Like, what are we going to do? Because we're not taking care of our own. Literally, we're not taking care of our own.
Absolutely. And Marie, I know you had a picture of your son. Did you want to hold it up for everybody? Because I didn't ask you earlier. I'm sorry.
Brandy, could I add one more thing?
Sure.
People don't understand how traumatic an experience like ours is. You know, like I said, I was there. So,
Yeah.
and you're probably familiar with it, with what I'm about to say. The flashbacks. It's like I have to be busy every waking minute because otherwise it'll just kill me. But eventually I have to go to bed. And the minute my head hits that pillow,
the movie turns on.
Yeah. And you can't shut it off. I've developed really bad insomnia because of that. It was bad before because, you know, he was gone. He was in Okinawa. He was in Australia. He went to Germany. He was in the ocean. And then he comes out and the little one goes in. The little one does 4 years. Well, no, he did 3 tours of of Iraq and 1 year of Afghanistan. In Iraq, his convoy hit an IED. They were all knocked out. He wakes up, realizes he was the first one to wake up, realizes that their vehicles are on fire. So he starts pulling everybody out. Okay. He goes to Afghanistan and he gets shot. It's like, what? You know, the insomnia is really bad. The flashbacks are horrible. And I want to know why all three of my guys have been shot. You know, my husband, my oldest son, my baby. I just don't understand.
And that's a lot to even just process, before everything happened. I mean, trauma, it definitely takes form in a lot of different ways. And that's why I like to write about alternative medical treatments for people with PTSD, just because of the fact that living life with PTSD is very difficult. And a lot of people don't understand, or they take for granted luxuries that people with PTSD are not afforded, especially when it comes to sleep or processing things, being social, finding joy in life. Like you once did before, you look at everything very much differently, and trauma brain is very much a real thing. And a lot of people, they don't get treatment for their PTSD in ways that they should, or they don't know how, or things that work best for them. And, it just kind of goes from there. And so, I mean, I definitely, my heart goes out to you. I mean, because I very much know exactly what the symptoms are that you're talking about, because I experience a lot of them myself. And, it's hard, not being able to sleep, or you stay up for days because you don't want to sleep and relive, whatever's on the film, or you sleep maybe 2 or 3 hours maybe.
And see, that's another thing that it just keeps going on and on. It's endless because I cannot afford health care. I was quoted $639 a month for my health care alone.
Mm-hmm.
My husband's been disabled. He's already 67, so he's taken care of. We were both. I never sought treatment or medical treatment when this happened, even though I was told you need to, and it's like, how the heck am I gonna afford it? You know?
Yeah. Yep.
And so having to deal with the PTSD that my husband has, and then mine on top of that is just horrible. I can't even begin to explain what it's like. So it's probably not as bad as you all's, because I mean you were out there for so long. And
Yeah, I don't compare mine to anyone else's, just because everyone's experience is entirely different and everyone processes it in entirely different ways. Some people, you would think that they wouldn't be able to function because of all that they've experienced, and they walk around like spring chickens. And there's some people that had a minor car accident, and they're not able to get out of bed. So you really can't like judge really anyone based on even their experience. You just have to go off of what they're experiencing, and how you can help them. And to me, I guess what I'm wondering is there any sort of service that's really offered for Gold Star moms or Angel moms for like therapy for dealing with the traumas that you guys have dealt with?
You want to answer that one, Marie?
Well, I've for crime victims there was, but I believe there's like a cap as to how much you can spend. I broke my thumb when this happened, and I just couldn't find the time. I couldn't make that trip to the doctor, so I sucked it up, just like I have been doing everything else. Just suck it up, you know. Um, but these are things that I think politicians should be looking at and taking care of, along with what's happening here at the border.
Yeah.
It just breaks my heart to see what the agents are going through. I think this year alone, I think we've had 14 suicides that I know of. And that's just wrong. That's wrong.
Yeah.
We need to take better care of our people.
Yeah. Like my medicine I need with my stomach paralyzed, because I also put off treatment because I found out it was cancer, I didn't put it off. I did the surgery at least. But like the medicine I need now and trying to figure out what was wrong. Well, they accidentally cut a vagus nerve. So
Ooh.
stomach's paralyzed. Yeah. So I have to have a certain medicine. And we didn't figure it out till maybe 2 years ago, right, Marie?
I
I was
remember
like
you telling me about it, but I
bigger
don't.
than a dog. I mean, I finally collapsed and was sick to where I didn't know if I was going to be here. And thank God for my local doctor. But what she just mentioned is my insurance that just changed, because a lot has happened since COVID. They want $1,000 for my monthly medicine. And I have insurance that I pay already, but I'm like, wait a minute. Like, what the heck? Like, I don't understand this. This is wrong. Like, what is wrong? Like, can someone help with this? Like, there's got to be another medicine. What is the deal? 2 of them that I have to forever take. And one is around 5,000 and the other one is 3,500. Now, who's going to pay that per month? I can't pay that per month. So right now I'm trying to figure out what the heck do I do? Yeah. Like, what do you do about that? Well, I guess you take the money and you transfer it to the people who are coming and get them, health care, get them taken care of. And then maybe one day, Tracy, we might find a drug that we can give you and lower the cost. Like, okay, well, no, none of that's working for me.
So let's see
Show
your
a picture.
Let's see it. Oh wait, yeah. All right, wait, hold on. Let's see. Perfect. There we go. Look at how handsome he is.
Yes. Yeah. And he wasn't as heavy there. I mean, he was heavy there.
Goldie.
Well, I'm just saying, if my mom picks up any pictures of me, if I ever pass away, they better find good ones. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, he hated pictures, but he was heavy here. Except when he died, he was so hardcore into working out. He was a triathlete and training and constantly running and biking and swimming. And one of his coworkers even showed me they had like a graph at the Naval Academy where they would go swim, and he was in first place with the swimming. So he was very, very active. And what I was gonna say a while ago, and then this will be it. Both Adam and Harvey were so loved by all their peers. It's like we're almost 9 years into Harvey passing or being taken away from us, and still, his classmates, his friends, his coworkers, people from the community, they all want to do something to remember him. Our street was renamed to Javier Vega Jr. Street.
Really?
There's the border patrol, the checkpoint in Sarita was renamed Javier Vega Checkpoint, and there's a brick in town that was dedicated to him. My ruck mates, you know what that is, right?
Oh yeah.
My ruck mates did the first Javier Vega scholarship fund, and they dedicated to him. And what's really cool about that was that the kids submitted their essays and we all picked. Well, I stayed out of that one. I said you all do it. But
That's
guess
cool,
who
though.
won the scholarship?
Was it a Javier? I hope it is.
No, it was the son of a border patrol agent, and we didn't even know.
And it was
like, oh
man, it was one of those that worked out.
Yeah. But people are still doing so much for him. He was so loved. He was a good guy.
Well, it sounds like his legacy still lives on, and that's amazing.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Her area is very, very, very supportive. It's very supportive. Here where I'm at, I'm trying to educate because it's not as supportive as it should be.
I've seen that myself. I was pretty disappointed myself when I went out there. And wouldn't actually honor him, and so,
firsthand. Like, it's not supportive like it should be. I was pretty surprised. So she experienced it. So I was like, it's not like I need someone to honor my son or say thank you. Like, son
If the
and
end
like
is
said
actually about
thank
him,
you
though,
for
like,
his service.
like
I
it's
don't
okay if
need
it's
it,
about
but
him.
yet when do we honor him? Like there's been no time for me to plan something, but I really don't want to be the one to plan something. I'm not like that. I don't want to throw myself out there like I want all these things done for me. I don't. But my son does deserve the respect. And he does deserve that recognition of standing up for the very freedoms that every one of us that we have. That right now, like Marie, having to have what just happened recently at the border, it's like, I can't even begin to say, like, having to get a hold of her and tell her it's coming, because unfortunately I witnessed it happening
And
in an offices I was in, and there was an emergency, state of emergency called. I knew what was going to happen, and I was like, Marie, be prepared. Um, it's angry, and it's going to be a lot, and I don't know what else to do except get us out there for awareness and let them know that, look, it's not like saying we don't want someone to come to the country. It is, we want people to follow the rules, the order in which it goes. We want the law to work for the way it's supposed to, just like any other average person. Not average, you're going to have some that may not, but the majority of the people, I mean, imagine being in an area where there's no law and order, period, like at all. Like, I don't think we're asking for much. We are literally only asking, and we're doing it for other people now because we can't get ours back.
yeah, you're doing it for your son's legacy as well, and I think that that's something that should be healthily respected. At the end of the day, it doesn't have to be about you, like you were saying, but it can absolutely be something to honor his memory and legacy, like with Javier or Harvey. He can have that, especially with two-step. Do you have a picture of him? Did you want to show?
I have several right there, but I'll get this flash. Oh, and he would not be happy that I'm showing this one.
Oh,
Can
man.
you see it?
That's the whole thing. Yeah, move it a little closer. Let's see. No, closer. There we go. No, there you go.
There you go.
Hey, yeah. Look at him.
Yeah, he would rather me show you another picture, but
or no picture at all.
Like I have COVID pajamas on the bottom, so
you're fine. I'll make you get up. No, you're fine. But no, I'm so thankful you ladies could come on and you guys could speak a little bit tonight, especially with it being Mother's Day weekend. A lot of us, we don't always think about, there's all different types of moms out there, and some moms, they have had a lot of loss, and it's something that we definitely should be mindful as well, when it comes to, just reaching out, saying hello, supporting them in ways that we can do. And definitely please keep us updated with anything that we can do to support. And as far as anyone that's interested in more information, definitely go to the twostepact.com, and you can definitely check out more of what Tracy was talking about specifically with the bill and the letters of support that went with it. And for Marie, did you have anywhere that you'd like anybody to go as far as supporting specifically, or can they reach out to you through the twostepact.com, or is there a specific place that you prefer people reach out to if they have any questions, or they can?
Well, right now the only thing that I have is my Facebook page, and it's Marie Herrera Vega. I don't have any websites or.
Okay.
Well,
anyone can reach out.
Act. Yeah, I do have your letter and your information on the Two-Step Act, and it's just twostepact.com. So actually, Marie's letter and story about Javi is on there as well. So you can see her letter that she submitted, and it's very detailed. It will give you the information. And from that, just looking up Javier by name, and Marie and I are connected online too. So if there is someone that wants to, my information is public as far as my number, the email, all on the site. And then I could get in touch with Marie and say, so-and-so would like to talk to you. So I definitely, my website will share for Javi and for Marie as well. So, and it's never going to come down.
Well,
So
thank you
whatever we
so
need to do.
much. And like I said, if anyone has any questions and they can't get a hold of the either of the speakers, Marie or Tracy, through normal means, definitely reach out through the SA in the Better podcast or me as well. I'll be happy to help. And happy Mother's Day to you as well, Rhonda, as well as all the other moms out there. Definitely reach out. Especially those moms on this weekend that may need a little bit of a boost. A lot of us, we do tend to get self-involved and we forget about, our brothers and sisters or other people out there that we could legitimately make their day just by checking on them and saying, hey, just want to see how you're doing. I hope you're doing okay. Little things like that we always forget, but it means so much to others. What we were talking about last week with our podcast with just random acts of kindness. Do something kind. You have no idea what you can impact or the effect you can change by just a small pebble into a pond. It could very much turn into a tidal wave.
Right, right. Yeah, happy Mother's Day to you both. It is bittersweet, but I have other children, and so I try to stay positive and focused. But yeah, it definitely is one of the days that
It's a hard day.
the day you birthed them, literally. So I always say, even to my kids right now, I'm like, it may be your birthday, but I birthed you on that day.
That's
So
fair.
it's celebrating me too. I birthed you on that day. That's why it's your birthday.
You're
So it's
welcome.
mine too. But the whole Mother's Day thing, I gotta, I have to, we don't get a choice. It's like you're a mom. When you're a mom, you just do it and you hold your head up and you take care of it. And then like Marie said, when you lay down in your bed or you're doing whatever, that's when, that's hard. That's, everyone jokes. They're like, why are you up so late, Tracy? Like, you're a night person. Everyone says that. Marie knows I am. It's nights. It's quiet and it's easy to reach other people. I talk to him all the time overseas because of the time difference. And I got used to that. And I don't know. And then I don't feel well in the mornings anyway for being sick, but still, I don't know what it is, but it's something about being still. And like, I can, the replay is there. You can't get rid of that. But I feel like I am, I'm a big believer in God. So, I'm like, okay, like you're there, right? You got us covered. I don't know. I try to distract myself by doing things, but because it's a quiet time for me where it's like, not doing it in front of the other children, not doing it in front of other people because they are uncomfortable. They don't know what to say. And honestly, we would rather them come up and say hi, nice to meet you. I am sorry to hear about your son, but you know what? We have this going on or this, you don't have to help us. Like, but we do want to still be included, like include us. Like we are out here and wondering, okay, like, where do we go? Like, we're not veterans. We are the mothers of those that fought. And like, we're the type of people who want to share the story, but yet we also want to respect, our service members, those that have served or are serving and their families. It's about all of it. And it kind of got ripped away from us, literally. And it's so hard to explain that to someone. I can't put it into words. Only maybe Marie can. I don't know. But it's like a hole is in your heart and you like have to plug it for a little while. And then the plug comes out and it's like everything comes out. Because everyone like, well, you didn't cry. And I'm like, are you around me 24/7? Like, I need to do what I need to do because it works for me. And whatever works for someone else can always be different. We're not the same. Being able to talk to people like Marie or other families. But yeah, we do. I'm ready. I'm ready to go out there. My health is better. And especially right now after what I've just witnessed and what I just went through, unanimously voting it. And then I felt like they killed him again. It was like, I walked to the last office and I'm embarrassed because I literally broke down crying, like 3 grown men in there. And it was the calendar's room. And they were like, we're sorry, but they didn't put it in the right spot when you vote unanimous. And I was like, is there anything that you can do? Because they were like, the deadline, like, "Oh, I don't want you to keep walking to offices, Tracy, because the deadline was like at noon." And I'm like, what? And I'm like, that's not what I was told. Like, and they're like, yeah, but we don't want you walking all around here, like you have been. And so we want to tell you. And so I broke down crying. I was so embarrassed after, but I looked at them and I said, is there anything you can do? Well, of course, the answer is we can pull bills if we want to, and we can put them in there. So they can do that. But mine wasn't chosen. So with that office, the 3 gentlemen that were in there and in that office, especially Derek, the staffer, he told me, take a seat, here's some water. I'm sorry. If I could do it, I would do it. And I was just like, I literally ripped open a box of Kleenex. I couldn't even get it open. And it was like, I was so embarrassed. I was like, I'm so sorry. I normally can keep it together. I normally can not break down. But you just told me that it's gone. It's killed. And it's like, oh, why?
Hey, you're human. You're allowed to have feelings.
It was, yeah, I don't want to go there. It's in me. I can't quit. I won't quit. I won't give up. I refuse. I won't do it. And we're not doing it. And neither is Marie. So Marie, was just at the Capitol, literally. And I was like, if you ever come near that Capitol again, you're at my house.
I thought she knew.
She thought I knew, but
I thought we had talked about it.
Coordinate.
Well, that's what happens when you go to the Capitol during session and you're talking nothing but politics. Your brain is like, ah. But it was cool. She was there with Ted Nugent, literally.
Nice. So
yeah.
That's how you know people, right?
Right. Yeah. I was like, dang, I would love to be there.
Well,
but yeah.
We're gonna follow up with you guys. I definitely want to continue. If you guys are wanting to speak or try to help any ways that we can, if there's something that you need from us, please let us know. I'm happy to help in any way that I can, whether it's trying to help support for an event, have you guys on again where you guys can talk more about your stories and maybe just updates with what you guys are doing. That way we can keep on top of that. Like I said, please let me know any way that I can help you guys. I know we definitely ran over for time, but honestly, I felt what you guys were saying is so important. Like, I was just like, and we're going to keep going because it's important. You guys get, your stories out there and you guys are able to, get more people hearing it and, people that are listening, if you hear what they have to say and you want to support them, go to the us2stepback.com, reach out to them, reach out to your lawmakers in your states. This definitely needs to be something that it's going to take a community, small army really, to have support where, we're getting this legitimately a fair chance and it's going to the correct places where it's supposed to. And there's no, silently killing it because you guys aren't going to be silent anymore. You guys are going to use your voices and get that out there and get this taken care of. So other moms aren't having to be in the same position as you.
The moms, the dads, the siblings, even my own other children. It's like, that void is deep within the whole family. So like Marie, it affects every one of us. And that's why we need to be around others that, are uplifting and want to come together. And if we can stay active, like she's talking about, like that, like, and not left alone because someone's afraid, like, we might break or something.
Bad luck for them in an election year.
Right. I am good to go. We're going to need a sponsor. And I know Marie, she's like, yeah, I'll go. But
get us list of senators that can help that we can start reaching out to. And that way, I
think we need to hit Congress. Don't you, Marie? I think congressmen at this point. Don't you?
I mean, congressmen.
I think we got to go above.
Yeah. Take everybody.
give us a list. Like I'd have we start somewhere. Veterans, we like
Any
to
of them.
structure
Any
and
of them. Congressman Carter is here. He's over the largest Army base that there is. You've got, and I'll say his name, Cruz. You got Cruz out there. There's a lot of congressmen. It doesn't matter which state. It's got to be someone who notices it and cares and gets it. So we don't care if they're from Texas, but I think we're going to have to go higher. And especially in Texas, session is every 2 years. So you have to wait to make any change.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. So we would like to go higher than this, and that means Congress and all. And Marie and I both had pleasant experiences with the previous administration. Not that we're against the one now. We are moms. We
That
aren't
was your
politicians.
experience. Yeah, no.
But they knew exactly what that word meant. They knew who we were, and they recognized it, and they properly were able to call on us, and like Marie. And unfortunately, I don't think, Marie, have you been called once to go do that again with this administration?
No.
No. Yeah.
Oh,
It's
no.
like, okay, what do we say there? I'll say it. I do not believe it, and I'm not going Republican, Democrat. I'm going with common sense. I'm going with intelligence. I'm going with able bodies that aren't beyond a capacity right now to be serving. I think that we better figure this out quick, because I do not feel like we have enough strength in the White House right now. And what we do need is more strength and support. And if that does come from the current administration, that's great. But I think going forward, like, we are going to have to start figuring out, like, who needs to be in that office. Like, not because of Republican, Democrat, but because of the ways of law and order, and what we believe in. We all have the right. Every one of us have the right to choose. And Marie and I are like, yeah, our sons are gone and served for that very right. So we can definitely say what we want. But
well, what would you guys like to say as final thoughts today? So we'll go ahead and wrap up for today. So what are your final thoughts, Tracy? And then I'll ask Marie.
Mine are to say Happy Mother's Day to all mothers, and to all mothers who have lost their child. I want to see I'm sorry put to action. I want to see action, and I'll say a special prayer for each of them and their family, because it's another tough day. It's a tough thing, and I'll pray. I will pray, and if someone needs to talk, I'll try that. But Happy Mother's Day. Thank you, Brandy, for having us on and understanding, like, who is a Gold Star mom and what does that mean. And then Marie with Angel Moms, and she's got Marines, she's got Border Patrol. Like, we have a lot of labels. The one label we want back our other label, though.
Yeah, at the end of the day,
that label we want is mom. Yeah, that's the best label ever, a mom. You could try to offer me all the money in the world, and I'd be like, no, thank you. I'll take my children instead. So, yeah, Happy Mother's Day to everyone. And just thank you for those that do actually take action. Don't just watch. Don't tell me sorry, but put I'm sorry into action, please. Yes. And go to the site and help us figure it out. Because at this point, it's going to take people who are attorney level, lobbyist level, Congress. And that takes a lot of money. And I don't want the money, but what we want is someone to start leading the way. We need someone to lead us. We need to lead the way. And that goes back to Marie, like her and I discussing things. We do all the time, actually. We just had another mother that was literally at my house. They did everything the right way, like Marie's talking about. And her son was 13 and thrown in jail straight from school. So I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? My first call was Marie. And I was like, Marie, I need you to talk to this mom and help me figure this out. It's almost like we're magnets. Somehow we're magnets to, I guess, what I feel like God and our faith wants us to be pulled towards. Or it's Adam up there kicking me. I mean, and hopefully like enjoying himself, and he's sitting with her son. And yeah, I have to think like that. I have to, or it's dark. So, and I don't want to be dark. I want to be in the light. And so we got to have women band together too. So just like Rosie the Riveter said recently, the women nowadays, we really need to be supporting each other and empowering each other instead of tearing each other down. Like, this is not something that we're going to stand for. The toxic environment of a woman pulling down another woman, like, come on, we're not in high school. We're smarter than this.
Yep.
Like, can't we band together and actually like do something that makes a difference? I'd love to see that too. So I'd love to see, women like step up, like let's empower each other and let's make a change, because there's a lot of us and we can do that.
Oh yeah.
So I think I'd just like to say thank you to anyone and everyone that noticed that Adam Two-Step is what he went by, meant something and wasn't just a piece of paper when I was running all around. And, I did have the people that signed on to fight for it. I thank them, the representatives and the senators, and the staffers. But most of all, I thank God. And I thank God for leading me to the type of people that he has. And one of those is Marie. So Marie and her whole family, we met in person recently, like a year or two ago. But anyway, long story short, you're welcome at my house anytime. My door's open to both of you. You can sleep in my bed with me. And you know what I mean? I mean, we'll bond together. We'll do it together. So I love you. And whatever I can do, I'll do it. If I need to come down there and we need to talk to someone, I will do it. I will never let someone tell me again, don't talk about the border. So I did learn something this time where it was like, I understand where you don't want to mix up laws, but unfortunately, it is part of the border problem. So we just need to figure out who that is on that campaign, because campaigns are about to start. Put us out there. We'll tell the truth. It's our story. It's our life. It's their lives, and they're not made up. It's real. So unfortunately, what just happened there where Marie is, I can only imagine what she's feeling literally by having to, if anyone has seen the footage at all, I'm not talking like regular media. I'm talking like real footage that individuals have taken. Victor Avila is one. Victor is running down near you, Marie. Victor Avila was great. They're two-step back, like talking back and forth, and now he's running for office. She knows more about it than I do, but I think Victor would be a great choice for both of us. Talking to him, I don't know who he's running against. Marie will. She keeps up with that a little more than I do, but we will do it. We just need the platform.
Absolutely. And honestly, just knocking doors, being patient, reaching out, being active, so really all that we can do. And you'd be surprised sometimes who is the person that are listening to what you have to say. Right. I've found that many times with my podcast that people I would never imagine would listen to my show do. And I'm just like, wow, really? Even billionaires sometimes, like, I'm just like, for me, this isn't anything big, but I mean, you never know who is going to come across your recordings or any of your podcasts or videos. You really never know. And Marie, what are your final thoughts for the night?
Well, first of all, thank you for your service. And it's an honor to meet you. I hope to meet you someday in person.
Of course.
Thank you for giving us Angel Moms a voice. I know that when one of us speaks, we speak for all of the moms as well, and the angel families. Just keep praying. I ask you this wholeheartedly. Keep praying. Keep praying for our nation. Keep praying for families, for everyone. Thank you.
Absolutely. And it was my honor to meet you as
Love
well,
you.
Marie, and thank your son for his service as well as yours as well, Tracy. I always feel like as a veteran, like kind of like a jerk when people say that to me because it's like, how do you answer them without sounding like smug?
Yeah,
So
my son
it
hated it.
was a
Oh,
struggle. You know, he's like,
Adam
there's always
hated
awkward
it.
silence.
Yeah, he didn't like it. He's like, what are you thanking me for? And you hear me, he'd be like, Mom, don't say the word hero at all. And I'm like, okay. You know, when I talk about like a fallen hero or something, it's like, no, like he is the kind of person that was like, like I'm serving. I'm not a hero. I'm not a, so I get it on all sides, but that's what we want to be back around. It's like we don't have our foundation anymore of people.
This is a
And
community's gone. Yep.
yeah, we need our community to invite us in and not be afraid that we're going to just sit there and cry or we're going to bring down the whole house with our story. Like, you know, we can be there and be proud and speak and support everyone. So, and come together in a system that we need to figure out. Like where Marie is right now, El Paso's in a state of emergency. I had Moody, who authored the bill, and he's not dumb. I know why he wanted on there. So I thank him for that. But I even recommended like Marie, should we call Moody? That's been on my mind. Uh, But I think we got to go bigger, and it's Congress. So I think going to twostepback.com, the number 2, and Randy will put the link in there. Marie Vega and Javier's story, a whole letter in there that she submitted. And through all of that, you can get to my Facebook, and then you can get to Marie too. So Marie is also in there, and she's also on the Two Step Back page. It's Marie Vega. And we want to make sure that Javier, I know that Marie, I just got these bracelets in, and then I saw them, and it was like, oh, Harvey, and his dates and beautiful bracelets. So, we have a voice, we have something that we can share with everyone to say why we need law and order. And we just really want people to choose and do the right thing. But I don't want to be a politician, but if one day I have to try that route, you never know.
I'm ready.
I'll go all wood. I'll do it.
Right? Right. Like, how can we build like our own army, literally?
I might as well. Sometimes some of the biggest names have done that because they did not feel supported. So you really never know. Definitely,
I would be all
you met
for
a lot
it.
of people on your way. I mean, you probably get some support that none
as
of us.
long as there's no weird Kool-Aid and like no compound.
Just vodka, you're fine.
But in all seriousness, I'm sorry, I have to laugh because
sometimes you have to, man. Like
I do. I have to make those stupid jokes because it makes me not cry. So when I feel down, I'm like, oh shoot, I got to say something.
Laugh, but crying.
Yeah. And I know you're a mom too, Randy. So happy Mother's Day to you.
Thank you.
It's tough on veterans. I've got Adam's best friend, female, who was deployed while her little kids were little, literally.
Yeah.
And being a mom in the military is a whole nother ball game.
Oh, it is.
Yeah. So I just appreciate you to your service. And Marie, my heart is your heart. And I'm ready. Whatever we need to do, we need to come down. I'll go.
Well,
for sure.
Happy Mother's Day out there to all of our moms, our angel moms, our blue star moms, our gold star moms. They're white star moms. Like there's all different kinds of moms out there. Angel moms, absolutely. Yeah. But definitely, guys, I mean, reach out over this weekend, especially out to the moms that may have suffered a little bit of a hardship or a loss. Definitely. I mean, they could really use your support as well. But especially for these two ladies, I mean, definitely check out the twostepback.com and I mean, reach out if you have any questions, and we will absolutely have these ladies back on for some updates as well. But everybody have a great weekend. Be safe. And if you guys have any questions, please do reach out. But have a good weekend and enjoy your Saturday evening.
Thank you.
Love
Bye.
you.